So I wanted to do another reading. I have my space set up a little bit differently here. And so I have a little light and I have a candle and some plants and some crystals out. We're going to do a little cleansing with some sound cleansing. So I've made myself a little grid. And so yeah, let's, and for some reason when I was trying to, I was very called to do a reading. And for some reason, the words, "What are you afraid of?" came to me. And so that's what this reading is going to be about. Spirit is going to help us understand if there's anything that maybe you are afraid of, maybe whether it's to leave a relationship, maybe it's to take a job, move across the country, move to a different country. Just it could be anything. And so I think I'm going to name this video, "Don't Be Afraid of This," okay? And this is a collective reading. It's timeless. Whenever you see it, you're meant to see it, okay? So the 3 decks I'm using are Spiritual Awakening by Reverend Dr. Aaron Fall Haskell. I'm trying to keep this in the light. The next deck is Prism Oracle by Nicole Pivarato. It's kind of like psychedelic, isn't it? And the last deck is The Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. So for me, there's a little bit of a glare with the lamp and stuff, but you know what? We're not going to let that stop us. We'll get through it. All right, so real quick, I just want to call in spirit and any ancestors, spirits of the light, archangels, my whole spiritual team, your spiritual team, just the whole tribe. Everybody is welcome. Anybody of the light who would like to help us with bring some clarity, shine a light on something that somebody may be fearing, because we can't really manifest if we're living in a state of fear. And I'll tell you what, there's so many things that I have been afraid of. And until I started realizing, not that I'm invincible, but until I started realizing that, if I live in fear and let fear take over, then I'm really not doing myself justice. Okay? All right, here we go. If your ears are sensitive to sound, turn down the volume for a minute. Call in spirit. That was a little baby one. Any beings of the light. We ask that anything that needs to be cleansed within our space be cleansed. And my little plant is kind of dry over here. We need to get them fixed up. All right, that'll be a project for a different day. All right, let's get started with this one, Spiritual Awakening. Whatever cards want to come out, we'll let come out. And this is such a spontaneous reading. These decks have been open and been used, but what I'm saying is that I usually have the cards sitting on top of the boxes. So, Holy Spirit, Holy Guides, Holy Angels, can you guide us to let us know what we need to draw our attention to that may be stifling us because it's cloaked in fear? So if you could just kind of guide us in the right direction, help us let go of anything that may be holding back because of fear, we would surely be grateful. anything that you would like to communicate to us? Draw our attention to. Shine a little light. We would be, oh, okay, guess that one wants to come out. We would be ever so grateful. This first one is, okay, I guess that'll be enough for that one. This first one that came out is the law of love. Your heart knows no bounds. Oh, who can relate to this one, right? Being afraid of love, being afraid of being hurt. I totally get that. No. And we've got a few that came out. This next one is the law of individualization. Shine your unique light bright. How many of us are afraid of being seen, right? How many of us are afraid of speaking our truth? This next one is the law of abundance. Open your mind to your prosperous nature. That's also a good one. How many of us literally have a fear of being wealthy? Either because we'd lose it, or we feel like we don't deserve it, or, you know, it might cause harm to us. And this last one is the law of manifestation. Let go of trying to control life and allow miracles. How many of us are afraid to let go of control? You know I can speak. I like control. I have, you know, in my later years, I have really come to learn to let go. You know, I used to have to, when I would clean, I used to have to clean the exact same way, in the same sequence, using the same products. I don't know where that came from, but it was a control. And, you know, maybe that came from just how I grew up, to where I had no control over anything. I had someone else telling me when I can speak, what I could wear. I mean, I know as a child, you know, we have to have somebody guiding us, but this was different. And, well, that one flew out. The water carrier. What really matters, reflect, reprioritize. So we're basically confirming. So these cards that I drew earlier, these are the main messages of what is holding us back because of fear. And now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to draw some confirmation cards. So this confirmation is the water carrier. What really matters, reflect, reprioritize. So if there's any of these things that you're afraid of, whether it's love, you know, being uniquely you, just being you, right? Or abundance, or manifestation. Just, again, you know, if we're controlled by fear, we're not going to be able to manifest or manifest as well, right? And we have to let go of control. We have to just be open to receiving love. And we do that when we're ourselves, when we just don't care what other people think of how we dress or how we look, or, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, it's just out there being ourselves. So how can this card, you know, focus on what really matters? Reflect on how unique you are. Reflect on, you know, the fear of being afraid of love. You know, reflect on why you have a fear of being abundant or being afraid of manifesting, and start reprioritizing. Really look at, where is that fear getting you? You know, is it doing more harm than good? What else, Spirit? What else would you like to say? Just a few more cards. I'm so grateful for your presence and your messages and guidance that you're giving us right now. I'm so grateful for all the signs, synchronicities that you allow us to see, the messages that you allow us to hear, the things that you allow us to manifest, and just the gift of being ourselves. Maybe that's the only card that wants to come out. Let me hold these a little more loosely. Maybe there's something else that wants to come out. If not, that's okay too. You said this was going to be a quicker reading. And you know, the other thing is, I think we talked about in the reading the other day, that water is very healing. So when this talks about, you know, the water carrier, I think it's important for us to hydrate. And I guess maybe that's it. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. Cleansing, releasing the old, releasing what's holding us back, right? Oh, I don't know if I showed you the water carrier. Make sure I do that. Anybody who might want to take a screenshot. And the bottom of the deck here is cleansing, release the old, energetic tune-up, new beginnings. Look at that. When you start to release what no longer serves you, let go of the fear. Let go of, right now in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the Eight of Swords. Just completely being stuck. You know? All right, one last deck. And then we will be done. I love doing this. I think I could do this like 24 hours a day. So I never really love being done. But sometimes things are done all in good time, right? All in good timing. These cards are very colorful and nice and bright. And these are more of just one word. They're just one word. Spirit, is there anything that I'm not going to get, speaking of words, I'm not going to get my dictionary words out today. We're just gonna keep this nice and simple. Is there anything else? Any other messages that you would like for us to know when it comes to what needs to be, what fear, okay, needs to be, I knew it, ghost, fear. You see how this works? Fear. It doesn't serve a purpose. It just doesn't. And I know that it is so hard. You know, I'll tell you while I'm shuffling these, and then I might shuffle these again. A few years ago, I was planning on moving to California. And the whole reason for that move is because I was trying, because I was trying to run away from the people here that were just being mean and just, you know, there were just arguments, there was hate, there was control, and I was so over it. And so a friend of mine mentioned, hey, you know, with your holistic living, you do really well out in California. And I literally thought about it and I prayed about it and I thought that I was supposed to go. And the night before, I literally gave my stuff away, including my car. I gave it to somebody who I felt like needed it more than what I did. And I rented a minivan and I had just enough stuff, my work equipment and stuff, to put in that van. That's all I was going to need, and I was going to start with a clean slate. It was me trying to overcome my fear of starting over, not knowing anybody, all that. But the night for 3 nights, I kept having these panic attacks, and I've never had a panic attack in my entire life. I didn't even know what it was. But that 3rd night, the last night before I was supposed to leave, it was a wake-up call. Like, Spirit was literally like trying to shake me awake, and I had such a horrible panic attack. I felt like I wasn't supposed to go, like something very bad was going to happen. And it wasn't the fear of leaving. That for in that moment, I had the most clarity that I had had in a long time. But you know what fear I did have? The fear of, what are people going to think? The fear of, people are going to think I'm so stupid. I put this all over social media. People saw me donating my things, and I was afraid of being looked at like I was stupid, like I made bad decisions, and all that. And it just, but you know what? I realized how strong I actually was by having to rebuild. I had to learn to put together furniture. I had to learn to, just literally rebuild, operate a drill, put together furniture, learn how to, for the time being, figure out how to get groceries, since I didn't have a car at that time. You know what I mean? And so I grew so much in who I was and my confidence. And it just got to a point to where I just didn't give a crap of what people thought, And for a long time I was mad at myself for making that decision. But that was something that, and another fear that cropped up was, then you see, I didn't trust myself to make other decisions. So I was afraid to move forward. I was afraid to make decisions. And there, that too, I was like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely, I honored my fears, and I journaled. Oh my gosh, I journaled. I went in hermit mode for a long time. But then I just started realizing, I had to start trusting myself to make friends again. I had to learn to trust people. And you know what? If that friendship dissolved and I started to realize sooner rather than later this was not a good person for me to be around, I knew right then what it is that I needed to do, end the friendship and the relationship. Not being afraid to enforce my boundaries because I was afraid of what people would think about me. So maybe that was the whole reason on why I was supposed to do this reading for you and to tell you that story. Because sometimes we don't really realize where the fear lies. But this clearly is telling us that we have to, in all areas, manifestation, being ourselves, love, abundance, all of it, that these are ghosts that are holding us back. The fear, right? We really don't like ghosts because or maybe we do. We just like being scared. Let's start to let that go, okay? Let's start to cleanse. Maybe you need to get some Palo Santo and really do a cleanse. Do a cleanse for yourself. Do a cleanse. Look, here's more water, right? These two, water. Maybe you're supposed to take a spiritual bath, right? Sorry about the lighting. It's dark outside. Otherwise, I would have much more light. But I couldn't wait. I really wanted to do this reading. Here's another one. Deep sea diving. Way of the Mystic. Learn through experiencing depths, right? Fear, that could go 2 ways. Fear can cause us to go fear can be so deep within us, right? And we have to be willing. It's called shadow work. We have to be willing to dig deep and to really figure out what fears are holding us back in order to let them go. And it could be that you need to hydrate more. It would be good to take a spiritual bath, soak your feet, go swimming. I mean, it's getting ready to be summertime here in the United States. Go swimming, just be around water. Go to the lake, go fishing, whatever you need to do, okay? The other couple of cards that came out, isolation. Remember I was just talking about that? When we start living in fear, we start isolating ourselves, right? But actually, we are our own pillar of strength. Look at this card. This is red. Red is the root chakra. That's the grounding. Water is also very grounding. Okay? So if you don't take anything else from this, I think we've got enough cards and stuff out here. If you don't take anything else, please take the time to get grounded. It's nice outside in the United States. Walk barefoot in the grass. Walk barefoot at the beach. Get around water. Ground yourself. Take salt baths. Get some Palo Santo and go ahead and do a cleansing, right? Put your intention and the reason you're cleansing out the fear, out with the fear, in with the love, being true to who you are, abundance, and manifestation. That's what I have for you. I hope this has been really helpful. I know it's short and sweet, but what needed to be said has been said. And so now it's up to you to take this and really do something with it. Take notes, put this information in your journal. Really think about this. If you need to meditate, if there are any emotions that need to come up, let them come up. That's also very cleansing. Okay? I will see you guys next time.